Coming up on CTV News, do you have your real ID yet?
We have reached the May 7th deadline for Americans to obtain their real ID. I'm Bryce Parker. We'll give you all those details coming up on CTV News.
Plus,
we bring you details on a tragic story where a 2-year-old was shot and killed. Today, a jury heard opening statements, and I'll bring you those details in just a few minutes.
And we continue to celebrate teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week. All that and more, just ahead on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for May 7th. I'm Katara Jones.
And I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us.
20 years in the making, the Real ID deadline has arrived.
That's right. And CTV's Bryce Parker is at Reagan National Airport with more.
So we have reached the much anticipated May 7th deadline for Americans who are traveling domestically to obtain their real ID. Now, if you're one of the millions of Americans who still is yet to have that gold star on the corner of your ID, the Department of Homeland Security is showing you a little bit of grace, announcing yesterday that you can still travel without it. Just make sure that you expect some delays when you're on the way to TSA.
The Real ID Act was enacted in 2005, and nearly 2 decades later, it will be nationally enforced for domestic travel and to enter some federal buildings. Starting tomorrow, if you do not have a Real ID, expect for additional screenings at TSA checkpoints. You should consider arriving at the airport even earlier to ensure that a potential delay with TSA does not result in a missed flight. Department of Motor Vehicles offices across the nation are expecting a heavy increase in foot traffic, but not here in Maryland. As of today, the state is over 99% Real ID compliant. But if you still need time to obtain a Real ID, it's best that you have your application filled out before you go to a DMV office and visit the Department of Homeland Security's website to double check that you have all the identification materials needed for your ID. Reporting from Arlington, Virginia, I'm Bryce Parker, CTV News.
A tragic accident in Camp Springs yesterday. It happened around 9:15 a.m. at First Baptist Church of Camp Springs on Allentown Road. Investigators say 2 men working on a roof were electrocuted by more than 7,000 volts of electricity when the ladder they were on came in contact with a high voltage power line.
Witnesses say they were unable to help because the bodies were too close to the lines and that it took close to 45 minutes before the power company arrived to the scene to cut off the electricity. The investigation continues.
We now turn to a developing story, heartbreak in Langley Park, where a 2-year-old child was tragically shot and killed last year.
And tonight there's movement in the case. One of the suspects at the center of this tragedy faces a judge today. Our Michaela Newton has the latest.
Today, one of the suspects, Johnny Tercios, had his day in court after being accused of shooting 2 victims, one a mother who survived, the other her 2-year-old son who did not survive. A jury heard opening arguments and emotional testimony from the mother, Rosa Caceres, and the detective that performed CPR on 2-year-old Jeremy Pooh Caceres. Israel Fuentes Jr. and Johnny Tercios face first-degree murder charges in connection with the incident. Officials say it all happened on February 8th of last year, when Fuentes Jr. and Tercios were involved in a shootout in Langley Park. When detectives arrived, they found the 2-year-old shot. He later died. His mother was also shot but survived. The jury today saw evidence and heard other witness testimony. Investigators believe the victims were unintended targets caught in the crossfire. The Tercios trial will continue into next week. Now, we will keep you updated. This is an ongoing investigation. Trial for Israel Fuentes Jr. is scheduled for January of 2026. Reporting in Prince George's County, Maryland, I'm Michaela Newton for CTV News.
And when it came to some of the other suspects, David Medina pled guilty to accessory after the fact, and Nilson Granados Trejos case was dismissed for lack of evidence of any actual involvement. And the former mayor of the town of University Park is indicted on multiple child exploitation offenses, including the production of child pornography. A federal grand jury indicted 46-year-old Joel Bierman, alleging he employed and coerced one or more victims to engage in sexually explicit conduct between 2012 and 2024. The indictment also alleges that Bierman produced and distributed child sexual abuse material. He's facing up to 70 years in federal prison. And Governor Wes Moore signed nearly 200 bills into law on Tuesday, including a bipartisan bill package for veterans that ensures their full access to state benefits in health, education, and more. And the bill making reforms to the blueprint for Maryland's future education plan was signed. The Excellence in Maryland Schools Act drew much debate this session, and it didn't pass until the last day deadline. The final bill did not contain some of the deepest cuts that were proposed, but it does slow down some of the funding that was promised in the original blueprint.
Like any big law of ambition and bold aspiration, we knew that there would have to be responsible adjustments and enhancements that had to be made. We don't make these adjustments because we don't believe in the blueprint for Maryland's future. We make these adjustments because we do believe in the blueprint for Maryland's future, and we believe in making sure that it is implemented and implemented sustainably.
And Republicans in the state assembly have expressed concerns about future funding for the blueprint and say future budgets will affect not just school systems, but county governments.
Veto the fees. That's the call from Republicans in the Maryland General Assembly, who are urging Governor Wes Moore to veto 4 bills that would increase state fees on various licenses, permits, and other filings. The letter comes from the 39-member House Republican caucus on Monday, the day before yesterday's bill signing ceremony. None of the 4 bills were among the 193 that Governor Moore signed yesterday at the State House. The legislation would raise fees on a number of items, including boat titles, dealer licenses, and fees on coal combustion byproducts from former coal plant operators. Lawmakers this session passed $1.6 million in taxes and fee increases. A major legal win for Maryland schools and a critical funding lifeline reinstated. Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown secured a federal court ruling reinstating access to the Education Stabilization Fund. The money supports low-income and unhoused students. It also helps schools address the ongoing impacts of the pandemic. Judge Eduardo Ramos ordered the immediate release of funds while the case plays out. Brown calls it a big victory for students, families, and the future of public education. You're watching CTV News. I'm Katara Jones.
And I'm Mariah Jalad. Still to come, more than 100 vehicles were broken into over the weekend.
That's right. After the break, find out what residents of one of those affected communities had to say. Back in a moment.
Dear Coach.
Dear Coach, they don't teach you that inner strength is the most important kind of strong, but you taught me that.
They don't teach you how to build confidence in yourself or how to deal with all the pressures all at once, but you taught me that.
They don't teach you how to get back up after you fail or how to keep going no matter what they say about you, but you taught me that.
So every time I walk up to that first tee,
that next test,
a new school,
or even walking into my first job,
I know I have what I need inside of me, and you helped me build it.
First tee was more than golf. It's where I discovered what I'm capable of. You didn't just prepare me for 18 holes. You were preparing me for every day of my life. Learn more at firsttee.org.
Knowledge is my superpower. I love nothing more than having community conversations where we go deep and share profoundly different perspectives. I studied peace and conflict resolution as a Rotary Peace Fellow, and the global network I gained is extraordinary. The skills that I learned enabled me to level up and have greater impact in my work. Rotary is this great connector. It makes something that might seem so far away, it brings it closer to you. You know, it doesn't matter if there's thousands of miles between us, if we can connect over common cause, we're already halfway there. What I admire most about my fellow Rotary members is their extraordinary heart and commitment to doing the hard work, driving and pushing change locally in their communities and globally. With Rotary, I have the power and reach to unite people across the globe to take action.
Welcome back. The Supreme Court allows the Trump administration to enforce a ban on transgender people in the military in a ruling on Tuesday. Legal challenges to the order will still proceed, but in the meantime, thousands of transgender people currently serving will be affected. In the first days of Trump's second term, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth issued a policy giving military services 30 days to identify and remove transgender service members. 3 federal judges have ruled against the ban, but the Supreme Court order allows the policy to proceed while the administration makes its appeal. And officials at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security say they will give $1,000 to immigrants without legal status who self-deport. It's the latest attempt to meet the Trump administration's goal of removing 1 million migrants without permanent legal status from the country. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says self-deportation is the safest, most cost-effective way to leave the country and avoid arrest. It would cost nearly $1 billion to reimburse $1,000 to meet the goal of removing 1 million people.
A strong arm robbery took place inside a local school on Monday. A Bowie High School student was choked and robbed of his personal belongings. 2 juvenile suspects were identified as suspects and taken into custody. They are being charged with first and second degree assault and theft. 1 suspect was charged as an adult and taken to the Department of Corrections in Upper Marlboro. The investigation is ongoing. ATV and bike thefts are on the rise in Prince George's and Charles counties, and local police are asking anyone who has been a victim to come forward. 23-year-old Demetrius Dorsey of La Plata is one of those suspects and is wanted for at least 1 bike theft in Prince George's County. Dorsey is also wanted in connection to an ATV theft in both Maryland and Virginia.
And in Laurel, more than 100 vehicles were broken into over the weekend, possibly by the same perpetrators. The break-ins took place in both Prince George's and Howard counties. Yesterday, CTV spoke with 2 residents who discussed their outrage over the incident.
It's been ongoing for a while. We had a stretcher cars broken from here all the way over to the other side of the Ashford.
I work at night, so I was coming home probably it was probably like 6 in the morning, and I noticed, I keep seeing all the windows shattered. I'm like, what's going on here? And as I'm coming out here, also up here, all the windows were shattered also on all vehicles, and also right here also as well. When I went to my camera, I saw somebody was breaking into somebody's vehicle, and then cracked the windows and then jump inside the cars.
It's like I saw on the news, it was weird because it was like cash and kind of digital devices left on the seat they didn't take. So what they were looking for this time, I don't know.
My daughter and my lady also is here, so I was feeling kind of maybe kind of sad because I'm not here. You know what I mean? So you never know. This person could have broken into somebody's house also as well. You never know.
Meantime, District Heights seniors have a new place to get a new do at InStyle Express Hair Grooming. The barber and salon was unveiled Tuesday at the District Heights Senior Center. With a few locations across the county, founder Nathaniel Crittenden worked with the mayor of District Heights to bring a convenient salon to the city's seniors.
We have a lot of the seniors come to my Capitol Heights location, and then some of them said it's kind of hard for them to get there, and it would be easier if they had something here. So me and Mayor Miller and her staff sat down, and we was able to work something out and get this here going.
for our seniors and our veterans to make sure that they can feel good about themselves and not go far, because sometimes it gets a little intimidating when they go to different shops. So if we felt like if we brought it here with the activities that we have here, that we could help them feel better about themselves.
In Style and District Heights will open next week and operates on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And still to come on CTV News, warmer weather means park season.
That's right. After the break, find out how to make reservations at Maryland State Parks. Back in a moment.
I do not have guns at home.
I feel really safe and secure having a gun in the house.
Judge, my opponent is completely disregarding almost half of my arguments which I responded to.
Communities must step up
Laws
and
alone
protest
cannot
against this
stop a
normalization.
bullet.
Our community must educate and push back against all that violence.
Every individual needs to be aware of what they can do to keep kids safe.
I completely disagree.
I'm not gonna listen to points that are completely ridiculous.
Point of inquiry. Do you guys even realize that the #1 killer of children and teens are gun injuries? Why are we fighting about this?
We have a serious problem in this country.
There is no adult in this earth that wants children to die.
I worry for my kids.
My fiance is a veteran. He was a combat medic in the Army.
I did tours in Korea, Germany, and Bosnia before I got injured.
There's been a lot of wear and tear on his body.
My knees are bone on bone from doing all those jumps and lugging my backpack and all that gear around. I was also exposed to toxins.
When Yusuf got out of the military, he needed help getting his disability benefits.
Luckily, DAV came to the rescue. They fought for me the same way that I fought for my country.
Every year, DAV provides life-changing support to more than 1 million veterans like Yusuf, helping them get the benefits they've earned so they can achieve victories, great and small.
Now Yusuf is paying it forward. DAV has been instrumental in helping him start 2 healthcare technology companies that are working to help veterans everywhere.
My victory is never giving up and finding more ways to serve.
He's pretty amazing.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Welcome back. A recent audit is shining a light on problems at the Maryland Department of Juvenile Services. Inconsistent background checks led to convicted criminal working with children at one of its facilities. The contractor was convicted of second-degree assault and possession of a dangerous weapon back in 2021. Overtime woes also are a major problem within the department. The audit found that one employee earned nearly $87,000 in overtime payments, supplementing their salary of $56,000. Well, don't forget to make your reservations if you plan to go to a Maryland State Park this summer. Starting this month, Maryland Department of Natural Resources launched its day-use parking pass reservation system at 2 popular parks due to the number of visitors soaring since 2020. Green Barrier and Sandy Point State Parks are the first 2 parks starting on May 19th, where reservations are required. Long lines and having to turn visitors away prompted the new system. With hopes of not having to disappoint visitors, you can go to the website on your screen to get your passes.
And to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week, the University of Maryland honored 3 alumni teachers in Maryland who go above and beyond for their students. One of those teachers honored was Sarah Tatum, a math teacher at Bladensburg High School. She was surprised with a $1,000 check presented by her alma mater.
This was a huge surprise. So yeah, they told me they were recording me for a lesson. I was ready for a lesson. And so Testudo walks in, I'm like, oh, hello, this is something different. And so the excitement was ginormous. It was really nice to see and really nice to be appreciated.
Best week of the year. And it's such a fun day. Last year was the first year that we decided that to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week, we would go out and celebrate some of our alumni who are working in their schools and their communities and just doing incredible work. And our teachers are our unsung heroes. So many days they show up, they work so hard, they pour so much into their classrooms, and we just wanted to take a moment to appreciate them in a whole new way.
And Ms. Tatum says her favorite part of teaching is the connections the kids make from math to life. And meantime, a moment of pause for the University of Maryland. First-time student enrollment at UMD has dipped 4% since the fall of 2021. This despite record application and admission highs during the fall of 2024. Last fall, less than a quarter of accepted applicants actually enrolled in the university, making it the smallest incoming class since 2022. All of this comes as national freshman enrollment in public four-year institutions increased by 3% from fall 2023 to 2024.
For people with either intellectual or physical disabilities, learning a sport can be a challenge. One organization is working to change all that and have enlisted the University of Maryland football team for help. CTV News takes us to College Park, where some lucky participants learned football fundamentals.
Let's go, let's go. Yes, sir. Wow.
The University of Maryland's football team took to the field today for a special reason: to give people living with disabilities here in Maryland a chance to have fun while learning football drills. All of this was a part of the team's partnership with the Beautiful Lives Project.
We do events throughout the country working with those with disabilities, all ages, all disabilities. We try to give them the opportunity to do things that they never maybe had a chance to do.
One of the lucky participants is 8-year-old Brian McAllister. He was diagnosed with brain cancer 5 years ago and is now in remission. His mom says through his cancer journey, he lost the use of his left hand.
It's amazing to see him in an environment that's so inclusive, that he can learn at a pace that works for him and just really have fun and enjoy the sport rather than being pressured to perform a certain way.
Today, about 50 players went over different drills like the figure 8, tackling, passing, among others. Eli Mason, a running back for the Terps, went over quarterback drills.
Be able to be a blessing out here to everybody that's involved with the Beautiful Lives Project, and just be able to be involved in, the drills, and just this small moment can be able to be an impact to them. And really, it's, as much as we try and be an impact to them, it's been more of an impact on us.
Head coach Mike Loxley says it's been heartwarming seeing his players pour back into the community.
We have a bunch of kids volunteering here and not doing it because they're making money. This is them giving their time back, and our time is the most valuable commodity we have, and our players are giving back, and I'm very appreciative of them for doing that.
More details on the work of the Beautiful Lives Project, visit their website at beautifullives.org. And Simon Buggs is here with our Wednesday sports page.
That's right. What do you got going on for us, Simon?
Hey there, everyone. I've got an exciting sports page lined up for you today as I recap last night's premier lacrosse league draft. Don't move.
When a child is fighting a critical illness, there's one truth that touches us all. Every child deserves a childhood. A wish is more than one joyful moment. It sparks a ripple of hope that transforms communities far and wide, even yours. When we grant wishes together, we unlock something bigger, an irresistible movement of kindness, strength, and unity. A spark that uplifts us all.
The whole spirit of what Make-A-Wish is and does, that isn't just life-changing for one individual or one family. That is world-changing.
Become a wishmaker today and be part of a journey that truly changes lives.
Nothing you could say could tear me away from my dog. My dog is Shallow, y'all. Hi, I'm Smokey Robinson. Did you know that every year, over 4 million pets find their way into shelters across the United States? For nearly 150 years, my friends at American Humane Society have been champions for animals, working tirelessly to rescue, care for, and protect them in crisis situations. Their work not only saves lives, but also strengthens the incredible bond between humans and animals, bringing comfort, companionship, and unconditional love. When you adopt a shelter pet, you not only bring joy and love into your home, but you also give another animal the chance to experience that special bond. Please join me in supporting American Humane Society and their incredible work to help our most vulnerable friends. Together, we can make a real difference.
Okay, guys, go ahead and grab a seat because your Wednesday sports page is here. Beginning with some news from the lacrosse world, congratulations to former Terps Logan McNaney, Jack McDonald, and Bryce Ford on being selected in the 2025 Premier Lacrosse League Draft last night. McNaney will be heading to the Mile High City as he was selected by the Denver Outlaws 11th overall. McNaney was the first goalie selected in this year's draft. He leaves College Park as the program's all-time saves leader with 743. The New York native was also named the 2022 NCAA Tournament's Most Outstanding Player and was a 2025 All-Big Ten honoree, as well as a Top 25 Tewaaraton Award finalist during his time at Maryland. McDonald, who plays midfielder, was drafted by the Carolina Chaos 16th overall. McDonald was a key part of Maryland's defensive success as he led the team in ground balls with 42 and ranked second on the team in caused turnovers. And this helped the Terps rank third nationally in scoring defense. And finally, Bryce Ford will be joining the reigning PLL champion Utah Archers. The graduate transfer started in all 14 games for the team this past season, scoring multi-point performances in 9 of those matchups, and helped Maryland secure the number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Congratulations to you guys and good luck in the next chapter of your lacrosse journey. Moving on to more Terps sports news, guards David Coit and Isaiah Watts have officially signed with the Maryland men's basketball team. Coit joins Buzz Williams and company after playing at Kansas and Northern Illinois. For the Jayhawks last season, he averaged 5 points and almost 2 rebounds and an assist. But in 2024 for NIU, he put up 21 points, 3 dimes, and 3 boards per game. He was also a 2-time All-MAC selection with the Huskies as well. Moving on to Watts, the 6'3" guard joins the Terps after playing at Washington State for 2 seasons. And in his last season with the Cougars, the Seattle native put up 11 points, 4 boards, and 2 assists. Moving on to high school sports, multiple girls lacrosse teams will take their field as Oxon Hill and Suitland will face off. Flowers will host Annapolis, and finally, the Bladensburg Lady Mustangs will take a road trip to Upper Marlboro to take on Wise. And wrapping up sports, the Washington Capitals dropped their first game of their series against the Carolina Hurricanes last night, 2-1. The two teams will take the ice again tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And that wraps up your Wednesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, thanks, Simon. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy with calm winds. Tomorrow it's going to be 78 degrees, but grab your umbrellas on the way out. We have a 70% chance of rain and thunderstorms.
Friday will be 68 degrees with the chance of raindrops to 30%. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high of 72 and a low of 54.
And for our community calendar, Mother's Day is this Sunday, and MGM National Harbor wants you to spoil your mom in style. The Voltaggio Brothers Steakhouse will be treating all moms to a special flower during their visit. Guests can also capture the moment with a complimentary Polaroid keepsake.
If a day of relaxation is more mom speed, they also have some spa packages that will have mom bragging on her kids until next Mother's Day. And if you want to shake what your mama gave ya, well, a show there will be at the MGM National Theater will be Charlie Wilson. He'll be singing all of his hits again at the MGM National Theater at 8 p.m.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.